So, you all come together, doing a little dance. At the top of the hill, where there's this sort of thick layers of snow that come up to... Actually, you're all pretty similar height, I'm fairly sure. Come up to sort of around your waist, but like going down a little is that cave where you can see the crystals shining a little bit. And then you see a silhouette in the mouth of the cave where the light can sort of stream in. Why don't you all give me perception checkies? Real quickies.
Okay. Disadvantage for me? Or is it far enough in the cave?
Not far enough in the cave, disadvantage.
Okay, disadvantage.
The cave will be normal for you.
Yeah.
Nope. Why are we terrible at
Barut,
everything?
you think that might be a person in danger. Maybe a goblin. Very hard to tell. Looks bigger than a goblin, though, so it might be a human in danger. The rest of you can't figure it out either. It is a humanoid shape, just sort of standing there, sort of moving, blowing a little bit in the wind side to side. But Barut is pretty convinced someone's in harm's way.
I think we better get in there quickly. That looks dangerous. It looks like someone's in danger. We should move.
Yeah.
Be careful. Remember what they said about the corrupting crystal thing? Don't touch crystals.
All right.
Who goes there? I yell into.
Oh, okay. And I'm gonna jump off to the side to try and hide. What is that? Yell.
Give me a stealth check, Virik. When you yell, "Who goes there?" you just hear from the wind.
Nope. It's appropriately slow.
But why don't we, instead of just
I'm
talking
gonna-
about it,
Ah.
I was gonna say it again in Primordial.
move about it?
Oh. Oh.
So you see a fellow in there.
I don't see anything.
No, because you're a human, and I forgot to put a sun on this map, so give me a moment, because I want it to be kind of dark inside, so the sun... Nope. It's being rude. It's being rude. There it is. There's the sun.
That's not casting light from me, but
Yeah, I haven't made it cast light yet. Un momento, por favor.
Ah.
Hey.
And why don't
what
you
that
roll initiative?
Why don't we?
Oh no. My
ready.
dark vision is
Yes.
paying off here, and I can see something I wish I couldn't. I'm at just the right angle. I can see
Good job,
something I
man.
wish...
I'm glad. For chat. Oh yeah, you can. You can just see the. You can see
Only
just the
just.
tip. Just the tip in the darkness. Alright.
Tip in the darkness.
We
So-
all rolled real good on initiative.
Tobias, as like Brute yells back in Primordial, you don't hear anything back, but it seems like that figure starts to lurch forward in a very unnatural way, like someone's sick.
Yeah. Well. That's gonna be me pulling out my bow and shooting him.
Bruce can be like, no!
No.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
I'm curing his disease.
Wow. That's a hit.
Okay. That's gonna be
That's
11
a lot of damage. So
then
you see
that's
this
fine.
figure moving forward, and then just an arrow goes out into the sort of the cloud of snow. And just like, and then it just keeps moving, almost as if unaffected.
And then I'm gonna move over there.
Very.
Actually, I'm gonna move there.
Okay, seeing that and seeing it so like that it was almost unaffected, I'm like, oh, okay. I'm gonna move about here, and that's within. Yes, okay. I'm gonna use boomerang at disadvantage.
Mm-hmm. That's a hit.
Hey, okay. Finally, and then boomerang to catch.
He like smacks into it, and again, it doesn't super like react.
Do you want me to re-roll the pick?
It's the
catch?
boomerang catch. That one I don't care about.
cool.
Again, it just sort of goes. It's continuing to sort of push and move forward, even as you pelt it with attacks.
Okay, then.
In between mouthfuls of casserole.
Yeah. So
Actually, as a
Having-
bonus action, I'm going to say I don't think that thing is in need of help anymore. And I'm going to clearly say anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I was gonna say, like, regardless, seeing these two attack, I'm gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
As you get closer, what you see is not the silhouette of a man. I mean, it
Yeah.
maybe was a man, and maybe he was human. It's very hard to tell because all the evidence of the flesh is mostly rotted away, and large purplish crystals are jutting out of its body in haphazard parts. And as it's moving very stiffly, as some parts are almost stone.
With that in mind, instead of taking my 6th step forward, I would take one more step back and say, "Yep, you're right. Not in need of help. I mean, different kind of help, maybe." And that's my whole turn.
Awesome. It's gonna start moving forward.
Oh, no.
And it's sort of when it like takes the step out of the cave and maybe into the sunlight, it goes like and goes very quickly to Barut, swinging at him. What's your armor class, Mr. Barut?
15.
You see, it starts moving very quickly, just in time for you to go like, and it goes on the shield, pushing you back a bit in the snow, but not much more than that.
Oh.
It stirs something else in there. Tobias.
Yeah, this is gonna be me shooting that same one with my longbow once more.
I love having a drow in the party.
Yeah, well, I would have seen something go.
Yeah, in the darkness, you just saw something move. That's really all you can work out as well, is the problem. That's a hit. Are you shooting at the same
That's a-
one that Barut?
That's a hit.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's zombies.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot at the same one.
It wasn't trying to dodge, it wasn't trying to react in any way.
That's another 11.
Actually, you shoot at it. The arrow sort of makes it sail backwards and it actually stumbles into the other one, and its like body goes into one of the spikes of crystal, and it kind of shatters apart like old wood.
Okay.
Oh.
The more astute of you, Barut, noticed that like its fingers are still twitching and moving and like dragging themselves around. It's very uncomfortable.
Oh,
That's my
God.
turn.
Varric.
I'm gonna yell out. There's something else in there moving. Fuck! I just throw a boomerang at this one. Oh, that's good enough. Disadvantage boomerang. Hey!
That's a hit.
And then a boomerang back.
Boomerang, boomerang.
Oh no!
Boomerang.
There it goes. Whereabouts does it land? And I'll draw it on there.
It may
In the cave.
land. Yeah, you hit, so it bounces off, and it would actually be over. Yeah,
I didn't see where that ping was. Down the bottom, was it?
down here. That's sort of area.
Okay, yeah.
Goes quite a way. And I was very tempted to have it go off the side of the cliff, but I'm not going to be mean. I wanted it to happen. That's what would have happened, but I'm not gonna take
I
away
rolled
your
the
one
one.
thing. Yeah, but not a one. And you can start moving to catch it now because you got to move action.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna do that.
You might as well, right?
Okay.
And you can pick it up. Barut.
Sweet. Okay, I didn't need to draw it.
I'm going to step, and take a swing with the longsword.
That's a hit. That is a hit. For 4 damage, you know, pretty good. So those things, it just isn't trying to move against you. It isn't trying to parry. It isn't trying to dodge. You maybe even aren't so sure how hard to strike. The sword goes in. You have to kind of pull it out.
Yeah. And that's my turn.
It is going to attack you. And again, this time it just kind of lurches towards you. And you just kind of step to the side, and it kind of just sort of half falls with its arms like outstretched. Like,
Poor creatures.
next up is Tobias.
Cool. Not worried about that at all. All right, here is a longbow shot going at that guy.
No, that's a hit.
For this 11 again. The third time I've rolled.
Fail.
It is a real good hit. It does not go down.
I will move here. Okay, that's my turn. I'm gonna take another
Awesome.
shot and move. over.
Okay.
Next up is Varric, who's down here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to take another boomerang at that same guy. So, try again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Then
Turn one.
Bud. And then boomerang it back. Come on. Hey, I caught it.
Yeah. One moment.
I'm getting better at this in the sunlight.
You thud it, and like its head comes off, like cracks off, like the body is still there trying to attack Barut.
Okay. Like I catch it and just sort of. That's.
Like get some like residue off the side. Yeah.
Oh.
Next up is Barut. Now a headless monster.
So, yeah, I don't think they're controlling themselves. And I'm gonna just swing at my longsword again.
That's a hit.
Nice solid minimum roll for damage.
You hit and it's still coming at you. Like you hack like a large chunk of the arm off. It's just still plodding ever on.
Okay.
And it will try and claw at you. And this time, like it's been clawing at the shield, trying to or trying to like lurch at you. With its head removed, it still continues to do that. And the constant barrage of the shield, it actually lurches while it's sort of attacking your shield, pushing your shield arm back into your chest. And your armor is not designed to do that. And the damage is much more almost self-inflicted as all the tension goes into you. And actually,
it's like a
you take
classic
7
sword.
bludgeoning damage.
Oh!
As this
my
thing with
God.
quite a good strength pushes your arm into your body, scraping away at your shield with like crystal-tipped claws that are actually like scratching at it real deep.
Oh boy.
Tobias.
Yeah. Let's go for a second arrow.
It's a hit.
For 6 piercing damage.
With that arrow in its chest, you must have hit some nexus point, maybe the solar plexus, literally, and it just kind of crumples and shreds apart into nothing, giving Barut
Okay.
a reprieve from the
Yeah.
tension and
Wish
pressure.
you'd done that a moment earlier.
Me too.
Yeah.
How you doing over there?
Not good. And I have a feeling we're not done.
Varric said he saw something in the darkness.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah,
you take,
there's
if you take
something
maybe
in
a
there.
moment, you don't see anything move anymore. Nothing comes at you. Yeah, if you maybe take like another round, like nothing comes out at you.
Okay. might not
You
be-
know what? I'm gonna move up to like the edge here. Oh, that makes it even harder to see. Like just sort of move back and forth here to see if I can
Give me a perception check.
see anything. And okay. Nope.
You don't see anything in there. You could have sworn you saw something in there. What you do notice is that actually the cave at some point kind of goes into not a natural cave and this sort of smooth but cracked stone that looks out of place. And it's actually like at an angle. It's not like flat or anything.
I
I mean,
can swear I saw something, but there's also like stone tiles. That weird.
For the
I mean,
rest of
not
you,
that
it's too
weird.
dark and too deep to see.
we did know this
Sorry.
place used to be a.
Dancing lights. I'm gonna dancing lights into right here.
At that point, I'm just going to turn the global illumination on and give me all perception checks, all of you.
Okay.
You see, kind of lurched in the corner. Takes a couple of moments for you to figure it out. Barut never figures it out. But Virik and Tobias, it's a bear. A bear with these crystals jutting out of its body at haphazard parts. Some of its fur is just this like encased in crystal. The crystal is this kind of purplish bluish that has some glow to it, but not much sort of light, you know. And when you see that, and when you see it sees you, you can start taking your actions. First initiative is Tobias.
Where is it? Because I don't see it on the map.
It's around the corner.
Oh, okay, I understand. Oh, I
You see
can
it sort
now.
of moving very slowly, very quietly.
Yeah, I'll try and hit that with an arrow. Let's see how this goes.
Ooh, I have an idea.
So, that's actually a miss, because you'd have disadvantage because of the cover it has. So I'll just take the 13.
Sure.
You shoot over at it, and it clatters against the sort of crystals in the cave, making a sort of ringing noise. No, it's not unpleasant.
All right. I will look to Barut and say, hey, this might be a good time to drink a potion if you got one.
I do not. But,
All right.
It would be a good time to do something else, but I'll have to wait until my turn to do that.
Sounds
First
good.
up is Virik.
Ooh, okay. Let's see. I want to do. Oh, still around the corner. God damn it. So the
Pulling us
creep.
into that cave.
You know
Into my
what?
web, said the spider to the
Yeah, no, guys, I do better in caves. Remember?
Yeah,
True.
but so do they, potentially, depending on what they are.
Now, it's staring at us, isn't it? So
It's
if I was to try and
staring
stare-
kind of like on all fours, and we're trying to work out what to do. But there's a cold,
Okay.
just almost like it's seeing through you.
Yeah, I can't really see anywhere that's easy to hide here from it. So
Yeah, you can try and hide in like the corners and behind the crystals things if you want to try and do a stealth check. You totally can. This isn't the
I think-
no rogue. You can't do a stealth check. You're in the middle of an open field. No, you can try and stealth here.
I am gonna try and like maybe stealth without touching the crystal, like
yeah,
next
yeah,
to the
yeah.
crystal here.
I get you. Give me a stealth roll.
Okay. That's not too
You
bad.
think you're reasonably hidden from the thing. You can see it. You don't know if it can see you. It's looking in your direction, but hasn't sort of like followed you. You know.
Just behind the crystal.
Barut.
I am going to cast a little thingy thing on myself. If it'll go.
Give it
Roll20's not
time.
letting me go.
Give it a moment.
Yeah.
Sometimes it needs
It might be choosing caster level or something. Sometimes
Nope.
it does that. Oh, there we go.
Oh, thank goodness
What
for
a
that.
what a good roll.
You know what? It actually like puts me a lot closer.
Yeah,
to full-
you are level 1, so 4 healing is real good.
Still good.
Yeah.
Still good.
Yep. Absolutely.
What are you gonna do?
And I'm gonna move. I'm actually gonna step this way.
Okie dokie.
And that's my turn.
The bear. But perhaps is less bear-like and more monstrous.
Monsters, you say?
Yeah.
It is
Why not?
a monstrosity.
Uh-oh.
6, 7, 8. Barrels towards you.
I think you can see you.
Immediately as it starts, moving very slowly, like claws scraping on the ground, and then it starts building up speed, like the balls before it. And when it swipes with like its claw, it just shatters into the crystal in front of you. And yes, Virik, crystal does touch you. So it sort of explodes around you.
Oh shit. Okay.
There's almost like a sort of almost a gas of like particulate that forms. Then
Does the mask help?
well, you wouldn't be breathing it in. Yeah, exactly. It does. After it swings at you with its claw, it then bites at you with its maw. That is more or less a normal bear's, although there's some crystals sort of jutting out of its face. It will deal to you. That is 7 points of damage.
Okay.
It's one of the things where, like, is the crystal's destroyed and you try to sort of cover yourself up. Maybe it like just bites onto your arm, starts thrashing.
Oh. Oh.
Tobias.
Yeah, that's unpleasant.
That's my middle name.
Alright, I need to like get in here to actually see this thing. Alright, I'm gonna shoot at it with my longbow.
Yeah, it's lit up because he moved dancing lights in there.
Yeah.
That's a hit.
18. Alright. So that's gonna be 5 damage, but is it a monstrosity?
Yes, it is.
So that's actually 7 damage because they are my favorite enemy.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Next up,
That's my turn. Yep.
Virik, the drow
So
himself.
that's me. Is it still holding onto my arm?
Depending on what you end up doing, yeah, that's kind of what I'm imagining.
I'm gonna try and like get it off my arm and get away from it, like to get some distance.
That'd be a disengage.
Yeah, it would be disengaged. That's all I'm gonna be doing.
Exactly. You're not like actually physically grappled, so you're good.
Yeah. So.
The
Hello.
ranger walks in. The monk runs behind him. Something's wrong here.
Ow.
Barut.
Well, I guess tanky Mr. Cleric is gonna come over here and take a swing with his longsword. Because this always goes well.
Sure does.
Oh, so well.
You swing at the thing, and your sword actually jams between like two crystals. You have to like sort of like let go to dodge a swipe, and then drag it back out earlier. Doesn't seem to harm the thing in the slightest.
Yeah.
But it seems intent in harming you.
Yeah.
But for a mixture of dodging and shielding, you manage to... Yeah, it hurts. You can feel bruises that are going to appear tomorrow as this huge thing. I mean, it's a medium-sized creature, but in the way that a Goliath is a medium-sized creature.
Yeah.
It is big, it is on top of you, it's swiping at your shield. But the other two you can see. And also, whenever it slashes at the shield, there's like a flash of light from when the crystals strike it. But you're not taken to any harm. And next up is Tobias.
All right. Step 1. Shoot it with bow.
That is a miss.
Okay. Step 2. Use my bonus action to pull out a short sword. Step 3. Drop my bow. Step 4. 1.
So remember, you can
2,
pull out
3,
both your
4.
swords with a bonus action.
Okay, so I will drop my bow and pull out both my swords.
Yeah, yeah. If you're using a full bonus action, you can do that, and you drop the bow. If you want to put your bow away, then it's a bonus action to draw one sword. Essentially, that's how it works. It's a little weird. Wish they simplified it.
Then in that
more,
case, I'll
but-
put my bow away and just take out the one sword because it doesn't matter for this turn. So I have one sword drawn, ready to draw my second one, and
Exactly.
I'm gonna come over here and get nice and
Get in a line of
close to the
fire.
creature.
Speaking
Correct.
of line of fire, Tobias. Also, this creature, as you're up and close to it, it has no unpleasant smell at all, as you might expect a big monster. I mean, you know monstrosities. You know creatures that dwell in dark places. No overpowering scent or anything like that.
Hmm.
Speaking of overpowering scent, it's Veric's turn.
I knew that was coming the second I heard overpowering
Yeah.
scent. Can I try and do mug shit here and get here and then jump over to here?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Give me an acrobatics roll.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now with flanking, and I assume in enough darkness, can I get advantage hits?
Very much
Sweet.
so. Very
So I'm
much
gonna
so.
stab into it quickly in revenge. I'm glad I had advantage.
That's a hit. It's a real strong one, too.
And then I'm gonna because I don't want to touch the crystal, even though I've been.
Yeah, you're
bitten
like
by the
attacking the fleshy bits.
Yeah, I'm then gonna just use the butt of the sword and just bash in to that part there.
It's also a hit.
Okay.
Real good. It's one of the things where you're attacking the fleshy parts and it's like and you punch it and it almost stumbles back. It actually is bleeding. Unlike the humans who are very old. This is still has flesh and blood and is bleeding onto the floor, but very liberally, too liberally, like flowing blood onto the floor. Next up is Barut.
Now, I don't have advantage on these attacks because I'm not drawing
You're
the
not
line.
flanking, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Because I am just gonna swing my sword at it.
It's a hit.
Hey.
That's
Four
real
damage.
good. Every little helps at this point.
Yeah, no. Barut's pretty happy about this. You might catch a smile glance across his face as he lands a strike.
I did
Let's
it.
see if the bear's actually going to swat at Varric and is going to hit
Oh, I'm down. I'm going down, boys.
for another 7 damage. Just sort of be like,
Oh,
he's
I'm
like
down, yeah.
attacking and he's just like sort of like to the side and then is going to bite at Barut and is going to also hit Barut for 6 damage.
That is exactly putting me at 0.
Oh my god.
Next up is Tobias.
This is miserable.
Give him the root. Give him the root.
Yeah.
Oh, the bark, sorry.
Yeah.
All right. So this isn't great. I'm going to definitely administer the bark to
Mhm.
Barut. And is that an action? Bonus
It's a bonus action.
Okay.
Especially for
So I'm
this,
gonna
it's
use
a
my
bonus
bonus
action.
action.
Yeah.
Kind of try to put myself between him and the bear creature, and kind of feed him some of that.
You could even push him aside and take his place if you wanted.
Yeah. Actually, that's not a bad idea. So I'll put myself like here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to use my remaining action to try to stab it with my short sword.
Please do.
Back, monstrosity, not a beast. It's a 13.
That's a hit.
Oh, perfect. So it's going to go ahead and take 6 plus 2 because it's monster, so 8 damage total.
Why don't you describe this kill, Tobias?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so basically I'm just gonna step over and kind of drag Barut out of the immediate field of vision of this thing, kind of administer that to him, and kind of one hand like on him, the other kind of
Yeah.
stabbing back.
Biting
and
it
just-
back.
Yeah, exactly. As it goes to claw, I'm just gonna thread the needle between its claws and just stab it right in the neck and just pull it down.
You even see like a glow from the crystals before the bear shatters
Oh.
in a very, very uncomfortable display. But Barut wakes up just in time to see the bear's parts clattering to the ground.
Here's your 1 health.
It's 1 health anyway to res someone with that, so you're good.
Oh, okay. Sure.
It's just it's actually an automatic res instead of it wouldn't be normally. And with but Varric is bleeding out at the side. So if one of you wants to give a medicine check to heal him real quick.
I'm gonna actually just do something else here. Which
Yeah.
is use my other spell slot.
Yeah. reasonable. Reasonable.
And cure wounds.
That's real good cure wounds.
That's real good.
You, perhaps for the first time, perhaps not. Yeah, come screaming back to reality.
Welcome back.
I'm just gonna pat Eric on the chest and say, "Welcome back," and Tobias, thank you.
Hey,
Oh, it's
we
dead.
we all
Good.
keep each other alive.
That's the plan.
That was me yesterday, so.
Yeah. And now you both know how it feels.
Now that we've all had a brush with death, as it were, let's investigate this cave and see what's kind of going on in here.
It's a good idea. I like that
We
idea.
should,
See if there's nothing else.
Make sure this thing is dead. Also,
Make sure there's nothing else in here first.
yeah, I'm exactly.
Give me investigation checks.
Can I also have a quick peek at the ones we already killed? Are
Yeah,
the
yeah.
hands still moving?
Kinda. Like,
Okay.
There's clearly some life in
Oh.
them.
Wrong one. No advantage. Investigation.
It's quickly becoming Teshing.
It's quickly becoming.
It is,
tension,
it is.
unfortunately. Looking around, the thing Barut immediately notices when he actually, like, maybe Tobias lights a torch, because light doesn't really get in down here, and you're seeing it in shades of grey anyway. And there's the dancing lights, but they cast a weird color light, so I imagine
They would have gone away when I went down.
Well, as
like-
well, yeah, you light a torch to look around better. You notice that the sort of stone, the smooth stone in this, is the exact same material as the Ring of Haldoon. This sort of reddish brown with slight shimmer to it. It's the exact same material. It almost looks like maybe a part of that ring is here. That's very far away, but like almost like a chunk of. Looks like something fell off. Or was a building part that wasn't brought all the way there, or was the ring was moved, or this was moved, something of that sort. And that's immediately the thing that you notice. You don't notice any primordial script on it, but you do notice that it is the same thing. You also feel, not as surprisingly, magical energies in the air, but you can't figure those out with just an investigation check. When you two are sort of maybe more... so Tobias is more worried about the bear. The bear is very much dead. You probably crush its skull just in case.
Just in case.
But those crystals were sort of growing all over it. They seem to lose a lot of light. And actually, when you're looking around, it looks like the ones in the cavern have lost that slight glow to them as well. Everything sort of goes to this like dark purplish glass color, as if, yeah, whatever energy is it as well. And the ones in your arm, Virik, also you saw them glowing when they first happened. Now they're not glowing as well.
Oh, thank God.
The ones outside, after a few moments of looking at them, it's clear that the body parts aren't moving either. And they're very quickly being swept up by the snow.
So I can say with somewhat confidence that whatever magical energy was present here and causing these creatures to animate is no more. But what?
Either of you know what that thing was?
Well, it was monstrous, I can tell you that much.
No, I don't. But whatever it is, I hope we don't meet one again.
Agreed. Okay. Don't suppose there's any loot around here.
When you're looking
Get up,
around,
Get up and start looking, because that's what I do.
actually give me another investigation check. You weren't really looking for that, and neither were any of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have been looking for any like magical relics or anything like that.
A
Yeah,
little bit
yeah.
better, because I'm looking for loot.
Yeah. You
Nice.
actually do find like an old bag. Like maybe these two people who are here maybe had stayed here for like a little camp. The bag looks like it might be hundreds of years old, but you know it's finely preserved, and inside there's actually around 7 gold pieces, which is, you know, at this part of your adventure, fairly okay loot. There were other things in the bag, but they've kind of lost to time, or those crystals had grown over them. But the gold's fine.
I'll pull out and just chuck them 2 gold each.
Yeah.
Make sure they don't see how much gold there is.
Hey, hey, you know, that's the nice way to be the steely rogue. You still give them a cut. They deserve
Yeah.
something.
Hey, he did the work. As far as I'm concerned, he's earned that extra gold piece. You know, I mean, it could go into our global pool that we've been building up, but you know, that's okay. I wouldn't know.
It goes into
Yeah,
Virex
exactly.
Global.
So,
Yeah.
is there anything else in the? Yeah.
Yeah, nothing of value or
Are there books?
interest. No.
Okay. Yeah.
It's
No.
not that kind of case.
It was kind of like a survival pack that just had some.
Yeah, I
coins
know.
in the bucket.
I was looking for books for Brute because
Yeah, it would be a
I don't
good
care
if
about
if they were
clearly
people that
enough.
came here to research. Then yeah, it looks like they just came here to shelter.
This is something that I'm gonna make actually like fairly detailed notes about as much as I can in my 1 health state while I'm kind of distracted, and you know, make essentially notes on how the creatures behaved, how they fell apart, as well as the.
Now here's a
crystal
question:
and things like that.
what are you going to call them? It's really the question, isn't it? We can come
while
back to
he's
it.
deciding, I would
Sorry.
actually grab the old bag, pour everything out of it, like so there's absolutely nothing left in it, and I'd actually carefully crack off a bit of the crystal in it without touching it, and then
And put
close it up and put it in my pack.
Yeah.
Would
That's
I have
reasonable.
seen you do this?
Yeah, well, I imagine you would
probably. I
take.
wouldn't have done it
Yeah, you would have
carefully,
taken a big
right?
one as well, wouldn't you? So
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna basically just not realize that you might be stealing it and just say, "Wow, yeah, good idea. We should bring that back for research."
I mean, no, I'm actually because I had this stuff wedged in my arm. I want to know what the fuck it is, so I'm taking it back
Okay.
to research too.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Are you
Fireflies
asking
might
me
deal with
what
that.
we'd call the creatures or what we'd call the? I mean, they
Both.
most resemble thralls, but
you can call them thralls if you want.
I think
It's up to you,
for
it's
the
your
time
book.
for the time being, they would be listed as crystal thralls, but that name
Okey-dokey.
might change as we research.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. And after probably around an hour of poking around, making sure that the magic of this place has fully left, and as the one person with a strong magical connection, Barut, over the period of that hour, you that sort of feeling you just sensed of your magical sense has dissipated as well. Now you're just feeling cold and kind of tired.
Yeah.
Which is how all of you are feeling. And actually, it's an okay place to rest if you wanted to stay away from the wind. Or you could go back down to your other camp and...
I mean, if he says that the energy is dropping, I'd suggest it. I mean,
We can
might
at
as well.
least
It's
take a
closed.
short rest and wait out the storm here.
wrap up your wounds and things like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you want to take a short rest and use your hit die, feel free. Your hit dice, there's only one.
Oh, yep. I'm
Real
full.
good.
I didn't take any damage. So.
Yeah, you're good.
That's
You
three
just-
times
you just
more
eat-
than I needed to
you-
heal.
You just maybe like go out and look around the hill and find like something edible.
Yeah, I'll totally take a little while and kind of scavenge what can
Yeah,
be scavenged. from up
exactly.
here.
Can I give him my extra hit dice?
No.
Hit dice heal.
Once Tobias is back, Root will kind of just sit there, and he'll be sitting there, and he'll be making notes, and he'll say, "What do you make of this place? You're a ranger. You've been around ruins. You've been around caves. You've been around monsters. What do you make of it?"
Well, I'm assuming you've conveyed to me the information about how this looks similar to this. So, yeah. Well, as you've mentioned earlier in the day, this is atop some kind of giant ruin, is it not?
Could very well be. There's a giant bridge. And by giant bridge, I mean a bridge built by giants, not necessarily a oversized bridge. Although
It was a big bridge.
small. It wasn't
No, we
necessarily
absolutely
small.
It would have been, from your knowledge, it would have been a very small bridge for the giants,
Yeah,
but it's a big
Yeah.
bridge for you.
yeah, it's you know, and I'd convey that in the most convoluted way possible.
Yes, maybe there's a diagram involved
Yeah.
from your earlier notes.
Yeah.
Knowing absolutely nothing about either, I was just going to say, oh, the Giants connected to the was primordial. You called it primordial stuff.
Giants didn't speak primordial.
You can actually give me a history roll, Mr. Brute.
Ooh.
Giants, from your understanding, and bear in mind, your understanding of giants are... You actually probably have met a giant before when you were back home, but it's mostly book learning. The giants do have elemental connections from the stories, and these are literally old giant... You've had a book in your time which is like the Tales of my internet cutting out. Very common.
It was
Tales of the old giant legends told by dwarves. It's like a dwarven book. And what it tells of is that the enemy of the giants was the dragons. The old enemy of the dragons was the primordials. And the giants willingly accepted the power of the primordials in their defeated state in order to gain further strength. And giants actually do have elemental connections. In fact, the most common types of giants, although their civilization is fractured, were linked to those elements. The fire giants were brilliant forgers who could live in literal, like, blacksmith cities that were constantly pouring molten magma. Frost giants lived in this kind of areas, tracking the wilds, taming monsters that you would have to kill together. And you have probably met a stone giant before, who are just sort of careful, quiet craftsmen, who, even after their civilizations fall, are just content making. So, giants do have an elemental connection.
Yes.
But you might think the Ring of Haldoon might be older than that. The Ring of Haldoon was not giants, was big, was not giant size. And by that I mean the doorways, the entrances, the walkways were not the size for a giant to move comfortably. Now the giants did have thrall races, they did have slave races. So unless it was a giant ruin that was made specifically for slaves, which is possible, you figure it's probably not. A giant ruin. Probably older than that. And I can actually give you a rough timeline of the ages, because it's relevant for this. You are currently in the year 4000, essentially. The Age of Man started around 2000. Of course, the elves and the dwarves do not acknowledge it's the Age of Man. And that age started at year 0. Because, actually, the Dragonkin created a calendar that became universal. The Age of Giants started around 10,000 years before 0. So it's a very long civilization. And it fell because their slave races were the elves, were the other races as well. They all ended up rebelling. You've heard a lot of stories about that are very conflicting, so you don't really know what really happens. The Age of Dragons was around 40,000 years before that, or a 40,000 year chunk. So the Age of Giants, 10,000 years, 40,000 years. You figure the age of these ruins are either 50,000 years old, or 10,000 years old, or older. Like in that bracket, which is insanely old.
Yeah.
Which makes sense as the mountains have reformed over it, you know?
Yeah. I would convey all that, because that's a lot. I'm not going to try and repeat all that.
Of course.
Yeah. But I'd also note just, so really, I don't know, because it was so long ago, I don't know. There are books, there are histories, but those histories are written by peoples who, for all we know, could have been slave races of the giants, and might not present a flattering view. There's biases that we don't see. There are things that we don't necessarily understand. Now, that being said, it is safe to assume that some of it is true. But what parts? Well, I think we're lucky enough to have found somewhere where we actually might get real answers, which is not something you can always find in books. As much as I wish that you could just find answers in books. And this, by the way, is why I'm here. Not these things necessarily, but learning this stuff in the field, because you can't always trust what you read in books. It's a good base of information, but you need to confirm it. So that's why I'm here. So, keep me alive, please, as best you can.
Imagine you say that like as you stand up, maybe leaning on your sword.
Yep.
Virik would have actually paid attention to that because he doesn't know anything about the history of the world.
Exactly.
So this is real interesting.
The history you know is written by the Drow, which
Oh.
you know as you is most likely not very true.
Most likely entirely untrue. Like
Entirely fabricated.
I don't trust anything to
Yeah.
do with the Drow. Like the only ones I remotely trust are those ones.
Yes. The good Drow.
Yep.
Would there be any like local legends and folktale and stuff that Tobias might know regarding the ring and
You
its
can give
origin?
me a history check about that.
All right, I'm not.
And it's more how much you know, because the answer is obviously yes. You know?
Yes. Let's find out.
So
I'm on Dragon Ball.
most
Average
people
guy.
think it is either dwarven or giant,
Mhm.
because the north is filled with giant ruins, and there's
Yeah.
even some of the giant blood still in the Northmen. It's one of the things that they say sets them apart from the others. The common consensus is that it's dwarven, because there are other dwarven ruins in Slate Cove. For example, the Baroness's manor is built on a dwarven ruin,
Right.
which makes it very defensible. So the common belief is it's a dwarven ruin, but the area around it has a lot of giant ruins. There's a lot of ruins in the north. There's a lot of ruins everywhere because there's a lot of civilization that's existed before. Just in most places it's been kind of hidden more, but in the north, because there's just less civilization, they fall to monsters. Weirdly enough, the Ring of Haldoon doesn't have a lot of like stories about it. Some priests and druids in the town who follow the religion of the area, the North Spirits, believe that it was created by the North Spirits to protect the town, to be a safe place to make a little Eden. And they would actually believe that it would be the act of Eirik, which is a unicorn, who is the god of fate and brings the north wind. That's what they believe. He's basically the
I like that.
lead of the pantheon that the Northmen believe is this unicorn
Yeah.
named Eirik. That's the common belief. But of course, there are other... Usually those priests...
Sure.
There's many churches along the river in Slate Cove. One to basically all of the gods. And some of them say, no, another thing did this.
Yeah.
But that's the what people believe.
I would also convey that information to the group.
Yeah.
And also just add that, like, it's weird that this is up here on top of this cliff. Like, it's strange that this is here. Because, as mentioned, either the rest of the ring was moved, or this part of it was moved, at least as far as I can tell. And
Oh, sorry, go on.
no, I was just going to say, if that's the case, that obviously happened a very long time ago. To what end, I don't know, but definitely haven't seen anything like this around.
Does it look like there's anywhere that should be more open than it is? Like somewhere that might have caved in? Like what would be a natural continuation of the
Give
area we're in?
me an investigation check.
Okay. Make sure I got the
I
right
would
thing
ass-
on.
Yeah, you give advantage for that. You're gonna have the assisties.
Oh, is he going to assist?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm gonna
You
assist
said it
you.
kind of while you were rolling, but
Sorry,
it's
that's
totally fair.
my bad. That's not.
That's okay.
Sorry.
I'm glad. It's still kind of meh, but I'm
It
glad.
doesn't look like the cave goes much further deeper. From the cave I drew on the map, it does go a little further. Maybe if you had a halfling, could like peek inside. But you know caves, you can tell when the air is flowing through a cave. It doesn't. It stops.
Okay.
What you do figure out is that based on the formation of the rock, this is like a panel. This is like a rock tile, a very big one. It's cracked and broken in other places, but there's no structure under here. And actually, when you kind of knock on it, you figure there's probably some space down there, but it's probably just more caves. It's not a ruin or anything from the sort of the sound of it. I mean, it's a very thick panel. It's probably like a foot or two thick, but still.
I would start to tread carefully and relay that.
Yeah, I imagine you weren't resting in the area that is the metalish. It's just strange. It's a stone with some metallic properties and a little shimmer to it. But yeah.
You said it has metallic properties.
From your glances and looks before, yeah.
Okay. Something
Runs a fine
interesting to
line.
note. Yeah, it's just something interesting to note if we ever do need to forge metals we might want to excavate. But, you know,
You never know.
Barut wouldn't be saying that because it's a ruin and he's...
Barut would
Oh,
write
yeah.
it down. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Because now you're
And just
here
get-
looking at it for a longer period with real light. You can really tell that. It's almost like... it's funny, the best example I can give is Mega Bloks. But they have some bricks that have little kind of shards of shine in it.
Yeah.
And it has that. It's not
Okay.
It's not shiny, it's not glittery. There's just little parts that capture the light.
Okay.
Interesting.
Well, is there anything else we need to do here, or should we go and let the goblins know that their monster is dead? Do we know that their monster is dead? There's nothing else in here, so I assume this was it.
If there was anything
I'm
in
actually
here...
gonna grab with my glove, like make sure the glove is good on. I'm gonna grab a little bit more of the crystal. Say, oh, we'll show them this.
Mm.
They might be afraid of that, but okay.
With the, yeah, anything that was up here that was causing trouble, I think is dead.
All right. Well, I'll try not to be paranoid then, and let's make our way down and let them know that the deed is done, so they can leave our sleepy town of Slate Cove alone.
And as you start
I left the
trekking down
rope
the
there, by
mountain,
the way.
as you start trekking down the mountain with your rope that you can pick up, why don't we leave it there for this week?
Yeah,
Okay.
that works.
This party's very productive, yet still gets a lot of shenanigans in, and I like that.
We're
I often play with very unproductive parties, especially when it's like, oh, can you just tell us like a whole bunch of lore? And I'm like, I mean, yes, but are you gonna do something about it?
We're productive with our shenanigans. We're efficient.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Productive shenanigans. It's the name of the game.
When I'm not almost getting the party killed multiple times.
So why don't we start our circle of fame with Dungeon Papa, Dungeon Dad. Who are you? How are you?
That is I. Yeah, I am Dungeon Dad, as previously mentioned, also known as Josiah, which is my real name, my human name, if you will.
Tobias.
Yeah.
You know, it's very weird, right? Because you have so many names. There's
true.
Dungeon Dad, Dungeon Papa, Tobias, and Josiah. I can't call you Dung, because you can go like Tash, you can go Winter. I can't call you Dung. Don't really
Maybe
want to call
you
you
could.
Dad or Papa. So
Yeah.
you're somewhere between Tobias and Josiah in my mind.
That's fine. Yeah, the Dungeon Papa is just because Dungeon Dad was already taken on Twitter. And I don't know.
I saw that and I figured that out.
yeah, I don't know what's going on with that other Twitter account, but don't worry about it. The point is, who am I? What am I? I make YouTube videos. I make YouTube videos for people who play D&D, for dungeon masters, players, whatever. The main thing I do is I do a lot of monster recovery, like going and finding old
And
monsters.
it's
or
real
monster
good.
Video
It's a good
game
watch.
stuff,
Yeah.
and just converting them. So if you're a dungeon master and you want to find cool monsters to use, or just a player who likes D&D stuff, that is for you. The video I did last week was about the Aurum Vorax, which
And
is
it was real cool.
it's an 8-legged honey badger.
That's a monster I can't believe
It's
they
cool.
didn't like do in like Volo's guide or something.
I know
Yeah.
it's,
It's
so,
so simple
good. Right?
and like
I
just interesting.
It's,
I
yeah,
really
it's-
loved the Ghost Walker one.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
That looks real
Queen.
cool.
I mean, I renamed it the Gravewalker, but
Gravewalker.
as it's called in the Fiend Folio, it is a tween, like TW.
Yeah, I remember the name was kind of
I
ridiculous.
was like, this is I can't make this. Like in the 80s, maybe, but like
Yeah, now it's just weird.
But that's kind of a cool monster. Yeah, a monster of two souls, basically. But yeah, tune in next week when we're gonna talk about. I can't remember what they're called right now, but it's basically what happens if an illithid gets its hand on a dragon and makes a brain-devouring dragon.
I am in love with that. That may
That
be
is
appropriate
amazing.
for some plot I'm doing for some other things.
Well, catch me next
Ooh.
Friday because there is some horrendous art of this creature that exists, and
I was thinking the Ourovorix, we had some real good like fan art and good. I was like, oh, that's impressive. Well, obscure monsters.
it's, put a brain tadpole in a dragon and find out what happens. That's
All right.
that's next week.
What
Anyways,
I think that happens is you get a Tesh. Tesh, who are you? How are you? How's your kitty?
Kitty is good. I am Tesh of the Tesh Tube on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. You can find me multiple places now. With the Thursday for D&D, soon to be a Wednesday. This is all American time because time zones for D&D, and also make sure you watch Twitter for kitty content.
We were talking before this stream. Tesh's Twitter is very entertaining.
Tesh's Twitter is
It's
good,
just a
even
lot of just
Even if
stuff.
you never
Shit
watch
posts.
any of his things,
It's a lot of shit posts.
his
Yeah.
Twitter is great.
And speaking of someone whose Twitter is not so great, D minus. See me
Yeah.
after class.
Yeah,
Will Winter.
Yeah.
What's up?
I mean, that was rude, but yes. Twitter is literally just there for scheduling and announcements for me. I use it to watch Tesh's Twitter, and then that's pretty much it. But you can find me there at willgraham_WBG, and you can find me on Twitch, which is where you really want to be if you want to see me, at twitch.tv/WinterBearGames. I as well am on Thursday D&D show at twitch.tv/The Dracovan Empire for Matt's show with Tesh and Tiv and Matt and Joe and Rachel.
You don't. I mean, you don't need to list everyone, but thanks.
Look, you gave me a D- on Twitter, so now you have to listen to me.
So
talk
I've given
about
you a
that.
D- on this announcement as well.
Yeah, well, that's okay. We'll talk after class.
Which one of us is the teacher here?
Yeah, it's a good question, isn't it? Anyways, on Eberron on Fridays for the next 2 weeks for sure. So that is twitch.tv/Delric. Sundays here, twitch.tv/Allrant. And it's a good time if you caught the end of the stream but didn't, watch the whole thing.
People roll in and out.
Yeah. Ollie, why don't you just go ahead and slide on into you?
I wish I could, because I'm a tasty catch. And you can catch me here often, also at Twitter, at Ollie Rant. These ones are all on YouTube, at Ollie Smith Art, because it's my art YouTube. Go back and watch them. You might notice things you missed. And including the period where my internet went out for like 5 minutes. And I just kept talking, and we were talking. I stream most days around 9 p.m. BST. I'm also on Derek's Eberron show, Lost Initiative on some Thursdays, a secret project that will be on Saturdays soon, maybe. And I also left out my show on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. BST. I run a Stars Without Number show. That is the best Stars Without Number show on Twitch. No argument. No argument. And that's real good too.
Tomas is the best character.
Yeah, we were discussing this before. Tomas is the best character.
By far.
Yeah, agreed.
And we will be back next week with more mystery, more curiosity, and maybe in the soon following weeks, that fourth slot will stop being handy-dandy names, and everyone will forget each other's names. So, we will see you next time. Same bat time, same bat channel.